9 out of 10 Americans are metabolically dysfunctional. Mental health issues, suicide rates amongst men and children 14 to 21 is the #2 killer for the children. Suicide for men is sky high. We've got 75% of the American people are obese or overweight. 1 in 2 will get cancer. Most men over 60 will get prostate cancer. These are the statistics that we're dealing with. And thank God for the MAHA movement, because now the health movement is getting global attention. Only 4 to 6% of the food on the market is organic. And so today we're going to talk about the superfood and herbal products I've been working with for the last 11 years. I've been in the herbal business for 2 decades. In fact, I worked in the Amazon rainforest with an herbal company. We had the strongest herbs on planet Earth, 42% of all drugs on the market, and 25% of all cancer drugs get their impetus from rainforest plants. Hippocrates, the father of modern day medicine, simply said, "Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food." Herbs, superfoods, and the definition of superfoods are nutrient-dense materials, unlike your domesticated apple, orange, banana, lettuce, tomato, cucumber, etc. These monocultured crops, soy, corn, etc., these are less dynamically nutritional than their wild counterparts, the herbs that grow wild in the world today. Herbs are to nutrition like acupuncture is to massage. They're very strategic elements, unique phytochemistry, terpenes, alkaloids, and micronutrients that aren't available in your traditional domesticated fruits and vegetables, if you will. And so we used to hunt and gather. What were we gathering? Roots, barks, berries, greens, anything that we could boil up, make a poultice into. Many of the berries that we eat are very good for the immune system. The 3rd century BC philosopher Hippocrates, the father of modern day medicine, simply said, "Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food." And we've gotten so far away from nature. And through the Flexner Report in the early 20th century, put together by Carnegie, Rockefeller, and other industrialists, basically it nullified the natural medicine that our great-grandparents used to use straight off the prairie. I'm here to remind you that only in the last 150 years or so has doctors, hospitals, pharmacies, or even stores existed. Everything we got for medicine came from the bush. And like I said before, a lot of the plants are still studied to this day by pharmaceutical companies. They take and isolate one of those nutrients, terpenes, alkaloid, etc. They standardize them, isolate them, and then synthesize them, and this is what we have are drugs. And drugs have side effects, and side effects is really a marketing gimmick. It's a term coined as a marketing gimmick. There's no side effects. They are toxic effects on the human body. So let's get back to nature as much as possible. I studied with Jethro Kloss, Bernard Jensen, and Dr. Richard Schultz. These are the herbalists of the day. Dr. Richard Schultz studied with Dr. Christopher, who was the big herbalist in the 70s. So a long lineage of natural medicine doctors I have studied with. I've scoured the planet for the past 35 years. Dandelion saved my life when I was a drunk, drinking in the fashion industry as a Versace model. I got pretty hung up on drugs and alcohol and partying. And Dandelion is a known diuretic, and it helps to get excess water out of the body, bloating, etc. And I had digestive problems. That's how I got into nutrition, internal purification, herbal medicine, fasting, juice fasting, cleanse and detox protocols. I've had a career in front of the camera for the last 35 years, and this is how I keep myself looking and feeling my best in front of the camera so I can be a good orator, teacher, etc. And so I'm 59 this year, and these are ultimately my results. I partnered with David Sandoval because his legacy carries on the legacy of Dr. Bernard Jensen. one of the big herbalists coming out of the 80s, and Ann Wigmore, the mother of wheatgrass. He's been in business as a superfood and herbal company for the past 35 years. Ultimately, I don't sell products, I offer transformation. And in fact, can I have one of the boxes over there? My sidekick Barbero, my trusty, rusty
Here's a transformation.
sidekick. So this is the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation box. I'd like to introduce my sidekick Barbero. I've been in business with for the last 5 years, going on 6 years now. He is my right-hand man. We went through the Czech Institute from 2011. About 14 years ago, we went to school, holistic school, with Paul Chek in the Czech Institute. So I've known him for a very long time. He stayed with me in Arizona quite a few years, on and off. We've worked hand in hand daily for the past 5 years, and he's helped me with my social media, helping many of you guys that follow me out there today, to this day. We've got millions of people following the work, and so he's worked with me with the Purium Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. This is a program, my average client loses 25 pounds in the first 30 days. So it is transformation in a box. And so my athletes gain muscle. It's the only anabolic, organic cleanse on the market that I have found. If you know of another, let me know. Also, David Sandoval has created a plastic-free company. He had a child recently, a daughter, in the last 5 or 6 years, and he realized the statistics that we are consuming about a credit card worth of plastic, I do believe, every year. Yet we're consuming a lot of microplastics just from living in the atmosphere. And so he decided to make the company a plastic-free company. This is made out of hemp, tree sap, and bamboo. This packaging composts into the earth within 2 years. It breaks down completely. And so all of the capsules that we have are in the Terra pouches. These are called Terra pouches. So again, Purium stands for pure and premium, and these superfoods are in a plastic-free package. The company is about 99.9% plastic-free. The Super Amino 23 is a patented product. This is an amazing, perfect amino acid. It has all the essential amino acids, or the building blocks of protein. This is how I maintain my lean muscle mass. I've been fasting for 35 years. So not only do I do intermittent fasting daily, I usually have a green drink. And do we have a liquid sunshine
I can make some here.
ready for us to drink?
Yes.
Barbero?
I will make some.
And so the reason I love the liquid sunshine, I've been juicing for 35 years, and I no longer have to deploy my juicer every morning, go to the farmer's market. A lot of labor-intensive elements of making fresh squeezed juice. This is dehydrated the second we juice it on the farm. And so 2 scoops in water and down the hatch. And so the Super Amino 23 and the Power Shake, or what I like to call liquid sunshine, energy from the sun converted through photosynthesis into chlorophyll, making an exact match to your hemoglobin. There is an electron transfer of magnesium from the greens, and most of us are magnesium depleted, into your hemoglobin, which is your red blood cells. It takes 120 days to rebuild your red blood cells and 6 to 9 months to regenerate your organs, depending upon what you feed your cells. There's only 2 things you're doing at the cellular level: taking in nutrition and expelling waste. Ones and zeros. The energy that you're taking in is basically sequestered sunlight or biophotonic light. And so greens, again, represent chlorophyll. That's why it's very important to eat only grass-fed ruminants, grass-fed animals, because of the omega-3 balance. When it's eating corn and soy, etc., you're going to get more polyunsaturated fatty acids, omega-6s and 9s. This creates imbalances and inflammation in the body. Inflammation causes disease, and disease kills dreams. And so, l'chaim to your health. Make sure you pour Jacob some. Now, I've come from the gym today. We did deadlifts and squats. I've been fasted since the morning. This is ultimately calorie restricted fasting. There's two things that happen when you're doing fasting. One is autophagy and the other is ketosis. And so ketosis is fat burning or utilizing your fat for energy. And autophagy is scavenging dead cells. And so anything that's dysfunctional. And we all know what abnormal cell growth is termed. I do believe it's a patented term, and it's a patented dis-ease in the human body. And there's a component in the greens from the sunlight, because greens, wheatgrass specifically, takes the radiation from the sun and turns it into energy. It has a nutrient in it called superoxide dismutase. And superoxide dismutase allows the cells to replicate properly. And so no mutated cells. And so that's why it's a good idea to eat greens, drink greens, eat grass-fed beef, grass-fed ruminants, etc. Sequestered sunlight, also known as biophotonic light, energy from the sun converted through photosynthesis. And that's the closed organic life cycle. The herbivores eat the plants, and the omnivores eat the herbivores and the plants. Everybody dies, goes back into the soil, and then the plants and the microbes in the soil are carnivorous, and it breaks everything down. Fungus, parasites, bacteria, etc., breaks the carcasses down and feeds it back to the plants. And this is the closed organic life cycle. So it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. I've only had this and the Super Amino 23. I've had about 15 of these. Dr. Luca Moretti, that developed this product here, he told me he eats up to 30 a day. He's an old, nerdy Italian guy. I met him one time. He came to the National Convention for Purium, and he says to me, "Hey, feel my muscle." And I'm thinking, what's this old nerdy Italian guy wearing a suit? I was like, what kind of muscles is he talking about? Thing was rock hard, 72 years old. So since he said that he takes 30 a day, when I'm working out, I try and shoot for 30 a day. Otherwise, I take about 15 to 20 a day. It's in the proper sequence for the amino acids to build muscle, the building blocks of protein. And it's the perfect amino acid structure. They don't go through the liver or the kidneys, so there's no catabolic waste. They go right into the muscle within 23 minutes. So an excellent tool in the toolbox.
How do you like that? It's good.
How do you like it, Barbaro?
It's good. Tastes like berry. Nice.
Yeah, Barbaro, you're a big meat eater. Like what?
It's refreshing.
What? There's a lot of controversy out there on the internet.
Yeah, they say around online that if you're drinking green, that you're going to go down and have a bunch of anti-nutrients and you're going to be unhealthy. And I've never worried about that with this, because this isn't the same. This is sprouted stuff, and I eat plenty of meat and everything else too. I've never felt anything bad with this stuff. Like when I go eat like raw kale, raw spinach, that's a different story. That stuff does have some gut issues for me. But this stuff always goes down great. And I've even mixed this stuff. So for you, like people out there doing dairy or coconut cream, etc., you can put in the greens or the chocolate powder we'll introduce later with raw cream, raw milk from grass-fed cows or goats, wherever you get the milk from. And it's so good. It's like the perfect creamy milkshake. Or green shake if you're doing greens.
So ultimately, when you're thinking about these products, you're thinking nutrients on the go, dense, organic superfoods. Again, only 4 to 6% of the food on the market is organic. Meaning, if you're not diligently shopping at farmers markets or sourcing it from someone like me or a company like this, then you are getting marketed garbage, you are buying garbage, you are shopping or eating outside in restaurants, you are getting seed oils.
And that includes the organic certifications in most cases. Like there's a lot of scams going on with that.
So it's layered. You want to source the best. the quality of food you eat is directly related to the quality of life that you lead. And so I know this because if I eat lower quality food, I get a food hangover. And so again, that's a little bit about the company, the history of the company, the history of me. We'll start to get into the products a little bit more. I am the author of Ripped at 50. I wrote this book a few years ago. Again, I'll be 60 this year. I'll be coming out with my third book. And everything about this book is fundamental principles, or in physics or science, they like to call first principles. You can't have this without that. And the body needs organic food. It's made up from the earth. It needs bioavailable materials that are going to metabolize. And again, back to the statistics, 9 out of 10 Americans are metabolically dysfunctional. And if you want to turn on that metabolic engine, it's a good idea to cleanse the body, reset the body a couple of times a year. All the herbalists I've ever studied with, they recommend cleaning the body out during the season changes. There's certain herbs that target certain organs, and it's always a good time at season change to clean out the organs, to fast. I personally like to juice fast. I've been doing that for 35 years. I've gotten incredible results. I just did my spring cleanse recently. I also understand that we are in symbiotic relationship with fungus, parasites, and microbes. So it's a good idea to keep those things in balance. Don't become a host. And you'll know when you're becoming a host because the girth of your stomach and the tissues will reflect that. Your skin is an outer reflection of your gut. And so if you want to look and see how healthy your gut is, just look in the mirror. And so a distended stomach, that means the body is out of integrity. The literal and figurative definition of integrity is when the mind, the mouth, the heart, and the gut are aligned, literally and figuratively. And so what we put into our mouth affects what comes out of our mouth. And we have the power of creation. And being able to create sound affects matter. And so if we're putting trash in and trash is coming out, then maybe we can look around at our trashy life. And so I've learned the hard way, and that's why I like to live a more pure, austere life, one that's based more in peace, harmony, humility, gentility. I'm not perfect at it, but at least that's my goal. The more peace I can have in my life, the more ease and grace that I get to experience. And so that's a big part of why I practice a holistic lifestyle. That was very delicious. Let's move this out of the way. So these are the core 4 ingredients. This is the Super Amino 23, which we've already covered. This helps to stave off muscle wasting or any kind of blood sugar imbalances while you're on this ultimate lifestyle transformation, juice cleanse, if you will. And again, Barbero talked about these nutrients being sprouted, which gets any kind of phytic acid or anti-nutrients off the plants. Then they're sprouted, juiced, and dried the second they're juiced on our farms. And so when you pour water on them, they're reactivated. They're enzyme rich. The enzymes are alive. Very pure products, all organic. We have the organic certification on our product, as well as the quality assurance organic certification on the Purium factory in Compton, California. This is the Autophagy. It's got a 7,000 ORAC value. It's loaded with antioxidants. This is a clear bottle, and this is a deep dark red. Deep dark reds reconfigurate damaged DNA. That is Gary Knoll's research about 25 years ago on resveratrol and all the red wine hype. And so there's no preservatives, there's nothing in this product whatsoever. It is simply tart cherry juice. Very high quality farms that we get this from, and we've sourced it for decades from the same farm. And it is the only plant that has naturally occurring melatonin. And so very rich in nutrients, Again, reds reconfigurate damaged DNA, and so you want those antioxidants in the body for the anti-aging, the longevity. It's not so much anti-aging, it's living until the day you die. I was in the sauna today, and there were quite a few people talking about their parents in a home with dementia, Alzheimer's. This seems to be the way it's going these days. I talked to one of the women. She said her father was in there for 8 years before he died. My choice as Troy Casey's certified health nut is to live until the day that I die, not being a burden on my family, etc. And so I want the best nutrients in my body. Why? Because food is medicine, and that's how we're rebuilding our cells. And so the Tart cherry juice is part of the core 4 ingredients, as well as the ultimate lifestyle transformation. 2 tablespoons at night before you go to bed helps you sleep like a baby and protects your cells against any kind of oxidation during the cleanse.
It's a good beauty product too.
Oh yeah. What do you know about this being a beauty product there?
Well, that's melatonin. Melatonin is the rejuvenation.
Are you calling me beautiful?
Rejuvenation, repair, melatonin. Skin, antioxidant, repairing damaged DNA.
I postulate, and I postulated this for years, that health and beauty go hand in hand. If you want true beauty, then you're going to find that in the holistic lifestyle, not in the Kardashian lip injections, boob jobs, butt jobs.
There's a lot of unhealthiness that's masked with
Plastic, polyester clothing, synthetic, propped up, what do they call those things? Photo retouch. What do they call it? Filters.
Oh, the filters, yeah.
It's going to come from clean living. Getting the phthalates out of, getting the synthetic fragrance out of your house, the new and improved Tide, all these smelly smells that are very detrimental to your hormones, getting off the pill, etc., tracking your cycle if you're a woman, getting the yoga pants and all those chemicals out of your vagina situation. If you want to have children, right? Because ultimate vitality and health is based on fertility. And so, and our fertility statistics right now are going through the roof. We didn't mention that in the beginning of the show, but the fertility issues are big right now. Birthing and fertility, miscarriages, all sorts of issues, eggs being off, sperm being off. It goes both sides, by the way, and that's because of all the contamination in the environment as well as in the food supply. So the Autophagy is dense nutrition. This stuff is amazing, guys. I've been taking this for over a decade. Super amazing. We've already gone through the liquid sunshine, the power shake, organic wheatgrass, and spirulina. The astronauts use spirulina if you believe in the moon landing. Anyways, they're supposed to be taking it when they're up in space because it's the highest proteinaceous green on planet Earth. It's loaded with dense nutrition. Then finally, we have the Biome. It's exactly like it says. It helps the gut microbiome restore from glyphosate poisoning. Glyphosate is an herbicide from Monsanto who brought us napalm and Agent Orange for the Vietnam War profiteers. They turned into a chemical agriculture company.
Super trustworthy, yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting.
A great little rebranding.
And so glyphosate is also known as Roundup Ready, and they spray it on everything. There's a great report, 29 pages, glyphosate on any plate. They found the highest concentrations in Cheerios, and that's the #1 food that parents wean their children off, little cereal elements, and it's got 1,100 parts per million over what the government recommends for glyphosate exposure. Glyphosate's everywhere, it's ubiquitous.
And that's just what they're measuring in children's cereals. Imagine what's being sprayed in the air every day. People are breathing in without realizing it.
Woo! So we did a clinical trial on this. It reduces C-reactive protein, an inflammatory marker, by 75% in 6 weeks. And it's proven to pull the glyphosate out of the tissues within 6 weeks. And so Biome for the glyphosate issue. This is the core 4, and double that comes in the ultimate lifestyle transformation. The only other ingredient we add to the ultimate lifestyle transformation are the Parasite herbs, the Super Cleanser. And so this has clove, black walnut hulls, and wormwood. Many people have been exposed to the consciousness of ivermectin. the derivative for ivermectin comes from wormwood. So why not just use the plant that the God has created for us instead of using these man-made drugs, these synthesized elements? Not that drugs aren't useful sometimes for some things, like bodybuilding, right? Getting all jacked up, being Arnold Schwarzenegger and making millions of dollars by having jacked up muscles and being in the Marvel movies. Like most of the Hollywood actors are on drugs. The Rock, drugs, those are drugs when you're all jacked and rippy rip.
They're getting cashed out good for it, so at least they're...
Yeah, most of the trainers on Instagram, drugs, would you say drugs?
There's a good chance that there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a good chance. Drugs, right? And then they're being rebranded as peptides and hormonal supplementation drugs.
Calling them peptides. And...
Where are they manufacturing that stuff there, Barbaro?
That's a good question.
China?
Where are they manufacturing it? And what are they manufacturing it from? It's another big kicker right there.
That's a really good question. So if you're taking synthetic materials into the body, especially exogenous hormones, then it's a good idea that you know where those sources come from. It's going to subjugate your own endogenous hormones. And just know that most things on the internet today, they're being sold by some kind of bamboozlement, psychology of selling, marketing, Edward Bernays, propaganda, gobbledygook bullshit. Right, Barbaro?
That's pretty correct.
Is that your observation?
Yep, I've observed a lot of that, yes.
It's been my observation.
I have.
All I know is the God honest truth keeps making my skin shine, my smile go wide, right? My eyes popping, right? The more I embed myself into the natural world, finding peace and harmony and letting go of the synthetic crap and not having phthalates and synthetic fragrance and new and improved Tide and xenoestrogens and contamination, and spending more time in nature and hugging my kids and making sure my kids aren't injected with poison, right? Then I have more peace and harmony. What about you, Barbaro? You got any peace and harmony over there at Barbaro Central?
I got a ton. And the reason why I got a ton is because I'm not out there worrying about what everybody else is doing and trying to compete with every little thing and trying to scrabble my consciousness more and looking up all these different information and high vocabulary words and all these facts and statistics. And I just go by
Research,
what actually works for me. What were you going to say?
Research bias?
Yeah, research bias.
Cutting down rainforests
all
for
that type of stuff.
thousands of pages
Reading
of
these
data.
reading these studies that are produced by these corporations that are just commercials. So of course they're going to tell you what you want to hear. And so a lot of them are AI generated, by the way, too. So yeah, it's interesting out there. So I stay away from all of that, and life gets really simple and good.
Yes, as I like to say, the antidote for complexity, as we've created in the world today, is always simplicity. And again, I put a lot of that in my book, The 9 Pillars of Health. There's a free download on my website. If you guys haven't had that, you can put it up on your refrigerator just to remind you that hydration, nutrition, relationships, nature, sunlight, grounding, purpose, having a purpose-driven life, like that's important.
Yeah, totally.
A big reason why I work with this company and I do the work I do, because let's face it, we are not subsidized by the drug industry. We are not subsidized by the oil industry, by the weapons industry, by the media. The Diddy party is over. Right? All those writers in Hollywood that used to, for television commercials, drug advertising is 75% of television advertising. When I left Hollywood, they didn't even exist. When I first came to Hollywood, they were illegal to advertise drugs on there. So all these industries are subsidized with the insurance companies, and most people have that trickle-down effect. And then we play the shell game with all these other industries, right? The real estate, and then in 2008, the whole real estate market collapses and the banks do this, and the banking's part of the whole cartel situation. And so, yeah, welcome to the Matrix, guys. And so we're just doing the little dance in the Matrix, and the best way I know how is to raise my frequency and vibration and live as vibrant of a life that I possibly can. And nutrition, organic nutrition, is at the cornerstone.
Yep.
All right, I don't want to ramble too much. Where are we at, Barbaro? We went through the ultimate lifestyle transformation. Average client loses 25 pounds in the first 30 days. My athletes gain muscle. This is excellent for athletes that are looking to go to the next level of their performance. And I do this 4 times a year myself, right? And I live on it daily. So daily nutrition, and this is in the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. And so if you do nothing else, just try the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, 100% money back guarantee. And if you use my gift card code while this video is up, I'll save you $100 on this.
Like 130.
About $130 on this. And so put a comment in the box, send us a DM, anything. My team is here to get the world healthy, plain and simple. All right, Barbaro, are we moving on or what?
We are. Yeah, the next thing we got is the juice bar in the bag.
Okay,
So
so
let's maybe clear this off.
woo!